Puff Daddy getting raided, man. This happened a couple of days ago. I guess it happened on Monday. I'm just getting to it now. It wasn't the top political story in the country as far as I'm concerned, but we should get to it. The feds raided 2 homes belonging to Sean Diddy Puffy Combs, and that is in connection with a sex trafficking investigation. A number of outlets have reported that agents with DHS conducted raids on homes in LA and Miami. 3 women and 1 man have been interviewed by the feds, quote, in relation to allegations of sex trafficking, sexual assault, and the solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms. This is according to NBC News. At least 3 more people are scheduled to be interviewed by investigators. Some people are reporting that Puff Daddy is apparently like the new Jeffrey Epstein or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what all this is about. All sorts of theories floating around, some a little more implausible than others. But my main take on the story actually has nothing to do with the scale of P. Diddy's operation, the purpose of P. Diddy's operation, even the people involved. I don't really know, and I don't even really care. My main takeaway is we know he did all this stuff. To some degree or another, we know. For years, you've heard about P. Diddy's parties, and you know about the drugs and the sex. And I think Usher, years ago, when Usher was a very young artist, went and spent some time learning the industry with P. Diddy. And he talked about it. He said, these parties are insane, man. There's drugs and sex and women and just everything, everywhere, you know? So we know it all happens. And the main conclusion, I guess, is that eventually the bill comes due. Eventually the bill comes due. It always comes due. There's no such thing as a free lunch. I don't want to just make this the platitude show today, okay? But this is a fact of life that people forget, especially in modernity. Go to preborn.com/Knowles. I really love Preborn. I think it is a magnificent charity. I strongly recommend that you give whatever you can right now, whether it's $5, whether it's $5,000, because every one of those dollars will go directly toward saving babies, specifically toward providing ultrasounds for women. Once women see their child on ultrasound, it doubles that baby's chance at life. To donate securely, dial pound 250, say keyword baby, pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Knowles, preborn.com/Knowles. We think in modernity, where we deny the moral order, where we really embrace the expansion of private life, even on the left and the right. On the right, obviously, we want to privatize everything so we can keep more money, and on the left, they want to privatize everything so they can have weird sex. And but both sides embrace the great expansion of the private sphere and the great diminution of the public sphere. But both sides, the left and the right, hate hearing terms like common good. They don't like that. They just think, no. When the left wants to talk about something even resembling the common good, they just talk about growing the government, you know, and the right, you're seeing the beginning of a movement to finally return to talking about the common good. But it's still probably the minority view within the Republican Party. So you've got left-wing communists. I guess that's probably the closest thing you have to public talk of the common good. But even there, it's not really the common good in the true sense of that word, in the classical sense of that term, which is that the common good refers to the stuff that we all have together, and it includes our individual good. It presupposes that there is a good way of living that we can know about objectively and somewhat reliably, and we can govern in accordance with that, because the basic principle of government is do good and avoid evil. It's the basic point of the state. And there are all other things that come into this, principles like subsidiarity, which in America is codified into federalism, and you often want decisions made at the lowest level at which they can be competently made. And I'm not saying we're going to have Leviathan in a totalitarian state, but we don't really talk about the common good at all anymore on the left or on the right in the real, true, classical sense of the term that would be conducive to our flourishing. It's all just private stuff. And then as a consequence of that, we compartmentalize everything. We say, okay, I can live like a total weirdo creep in my private life, but in my public life, I'll still be totally put together. So I can do drugs all the time. I'm going to do drugs all the time in my private life. I'm going to have a completely messed up sex life. I'm going to be addicted to pornography. I'm going to be totally selfish. I'm not going to give to charity at all. I'm never going to go to church. I'm never going to think about the moral order. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to help myself in any way. I'm just going to be a selfish animal in my private life. But somehow we're going to have a good public life too, somehow. I don't know, because we're going to be totally compartmentalized. Doesn't work that way, folks. Doesn't work that way. A lot of us do it on the internet. Forget even about the porn and that kind of stuff. Even just the way we talk to each other on the internet behind a pseudonymous account. We think, all I'm going to do is just troll people all day, and I'm going to be really vicious and cruel and weird. But that's not my public life. That's just my private life. No, it's all the same. You're a person. You're a person, and we're a country. And if everyone is just constantly engaging in vice and selfishness, then our country is going to be vicious and very, very selfish. I have no idea what the broader implications of what Puff Daddy was doing are. I should rephrase that. I don't know what the intermediate implications are. I know what the private implications are, which is that he appears to have been doing a lot of drugs and having sex and doing weird stuff. And I do know what the broadest implications are, which is that if everybody's doing this kind of thing, we're going to have a really corrupt country. You can't simultaneously live two lives. Now, speaking of crimes, Senator Bob Menendez, remember him? He's the Democrat from New Jersey. Hilariously corrupt. Everybody's known about it for many, many years now. It looks as though the bill is finally coming due for Bob Menendez because once again, the feds have got him. This all really started for Menendez, not when he started to engage in the corruption, but when he opposed Barack Obama. And I believe he opposed Barack Obama on the matter of opening up Cuba. And after Menendez said, look, I'm Cuban. I can't support you, Mr. Obama, trying to loosen the restrictions on Cuba. Shortly after that, there's a federal investigation of Bob Menendez into the corruption that everyone knew he was engaging in. And he actually beat those allegations, but then they hit him again, and investigators found envelopes full of cash in his house and just a lot of evidence of extreme corruption. But he wouldn't resign. And I thought this was so delicious. In fact, I was coincidentally just speaking with a member of Congress on a flight to or from D.C. And he said, I've known Bob for a long time. That guy is only going to resign when he gets off the hook. Maybe if he gets his family off the hook, but definitely if he gets off the hook. And that's what he's doing here. So Bob Menendez's latest chess move, which is going to have huge implications for Democrats, is that he says he's not going to run for re-election as a Democrat coming up for his next Senate race. He said, I will not file for the Democratic primary this June. I am hopeful that my exoneration will take place this summer and allow me to pursue my candidacy as an independent Democrat in a general election. I don't think this is what this is really about. I think what Bob Menendez is actually insinuating is the opposite of what he says. He says, look, I'm not going to run as a Democrat, so you can nominate some other Democrat for my seat. I'm confident that I'll be exonerated, and then I can run as an independent Democrat. I think the insinuation here is, look, I'm not going to run for the Democrat nomination. I'll back off. I'll go quietly into the sunset if I'm exonerated. If you let me off the hook, liberals who run the deep state, if you let me off the hook, liberal elites who control our political order, then I'll play ball and you can have your new Democrat senator. But if you don't let me off the hook, I'm going to run as an independent Democrat. And then you're going to have another official Democrat nominee, and then the Republican's going to win. And then you're going to lose your majority. And then Chuck Schumer's not going to be the leader anymore. And then even if Joe Biden gets reelected, he's not going to get anything done. And if Trump gets elected, you guys are going to be in big trouble. I think that's the insinuation. And I love it. That's probably the smart card he should play. Bob Menendez is not exactly the most ideological member of Congress, certainly of the Senate, probably of the entire U.S. Congress. Bob Menendez is threatening to throw the election to Republicans if Democrats don't let him off the hook. And that puts Democrats in a deliciously beautiful spot. That was good. And we all know it. Okay. We all agree, I think. So if you want more of those clips, you got to ring that bell. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. And then we'll see you next time.